Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing the Chaos Walking Trilogy by Patrick Ness. Don't actually have the books with me. I lent them to a friend. That should already tell you it was an amazing trilogy. So how this is going to work is this first half of the review will be just general comments I have to make about the trilogy, like as a whole. The second half will be more spoilers. I'm going to talk about all three books at once because it's kind of like hard for me to differentiate each book from one another because the plotline flows so well throughout all three books. Basically, it's this world where a germ has been released and it's caused all the men to be able to hear each other's thoughts, so you can't keep thoughts to yourself. It's like this constant noise of people's thinking, and it's crazy, it's chaos. And this germ has killed off all the women and even animals. You can hear their thoughts, and it's craziness. And the protagonist of this story is this young kid named Todd, who's just about to turn 13 and become a man. It follows his journey in this world. That's really vague and not well put, but that's sort of how the world is given to you in the very first book. First off, what you need to know is I loved this trilogy. I mean, I already sort of made that clear, but I'm just going to reiterate my point. I loved it. It was so good. It was uniquely written, and the world was uniquely made, and the plot was like, oh man, it was so dynamic. Like, I've never read a book where the main character has like a relationship with his dog where they can actually like communicate. That's never happened to me before. And all the noise like constantly happening, I mean, I can only imagine what that would be like. So already the setup to these books was like really, really interesting, and then as we like delve into the actual plot line, it gets even more intense and we find out new things, and it's super, super cool. For one thing, the world was awesome and I loved it. And secondly, the characters, Todd himself, he's not really that well educated. I don't know, at first I thought he was a pretty like simple character. I mean, there's a lot of development like over the books, and it's really obvious, like it's made really obvious how he grows up. All the characters in this story I really like grew attached to. I don't know, even the villain, like I don't know what this was. The animals, like I grew attached to the animals. Like near tears when certain things happen to them. I don't want to spoil it. So yeah, there was something going right here, Patrick Ness. And also the main villain of this, the mayor, holy crap, probably one of my favorite villains ever. He's the kind of like the classic villain, like, the goal to take over the world, but then he wasn't classic at all. Like, there are things about him that are so uniquely him and so uniquely belongs to the Chaos Walk trilogy, and I love those aspects of him as well. And all three of these books were super fast paced, like there was constantly action going on, which I love, and the ending to each book without fail like kept me non-stop reading. Like, it physically pained me to not be reading the book. Ooh, like so captivating. That's it for the non-spoiler section, so if you haven't read this trilogy, please leave, and then you can come back once you've joined the club. And yeah, so goodbye! Now getting into the spoiler section of this video. First off, what I want to talk about is Todd and Viola's relationship, because in the beginning it was super rocky. I wasn't really expecting anything to happen there. This wasn't so obvious. Their relationship kind of creeps up on you. You kind of see it at the end of The Knife Never Letting Go, and then it totally like develops in The Ask and the Answer, and then by Monsters of Men you're just like, oh my god. It took all three books to finally get them to even like kiss. I kind of really appreciated that because, I don't know, their relationship was based on feelings, like just feelings completely. Thank you for feeling something, like being sensitive, like that's cool. Thank you, I appreciated that so much. I also want to talk about the mayor a little more in depth, because like, what happens at the end of Monsters of Men, when he kills himself, you don't often see the villain take his own life. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that, and it was so powerful. Usually like that final battle ends with the hero killing the villain, but the villain killing the villain was something that caught me off guard. Oh, and another thing I haven't really addressed is like the multiple perspectives in the book. Like the Ask and the Answer, I think it's Todd and Viola, and then the third book is Todd, Viola, and The Return slash 1017 slash the sky. Yeah. And having those three perspectives, you get sort of an insight to all the sides of the war, so that was like really necessary. But the only thing about having all those perspectives was that sometimes a scene would last a really long time because you're getting it from so many different viewpoints. An example of this is when Viola and Bradley go up the hill to meet with the sky to negotiate like a peace, treaty or whatever. The Return comes at Viola with a knife. When he's like raising their knife to her, that scene lasts for like at least 10 pages because first you get it from Todd's point of view, and then you get it from Viola's point of view, and then you get it from the Return's point of view. This one scene like frozen in time. I'm one of those like anxious readers, like I just want to know what happens already. Having to keep replay it over and over again, it got a little bit repetitive, but I mean that's just like a minor criticism. But overall I think the three perspectives was really like necessary to the story's development. Overall I really love the action, and I love the dynamics of the war, and I love the character development and the relationship between Todd and Viola. The ending, like the very last book, that really like ripped my heart out when I thought Todd was dead. I mean, first of all, we've gone through all this, the mayor is dead, and now this is what's happening, and then he's not really dead. And I was like, thank you so much for not having an end in a terrible way. I thought the ending was super beautiful, and I was pretty content with it, but I was also like, come on, give me a little bit more, Patrick Ness. Like, just a little bit more. It was a pretty good way to end the book. I have a lot of thoughts, but they're all sort of scrambled in my head, so I'm just going to end the review here. Sorry that the second half was really unorganized, but I hope this was a semi-coherent review. I love this trilogy, and yeah, it was so good. See you guys next time. Bye.